Paymon who?
Mata Heyday.
Paymon Lata Heyday. Who is he?
Never paid taxes for 30 years. Fought the US tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. Why should you file and pay federal income taxes when the IRS is even leaving multi-millionaire non-filers alone? That's the topic I will cover for you tonight. I know most Americans are hurting. Price of gas, food, most everything is up. Your wages, your income is not keeping up with inflation. Let's have you keep your money safely, legally, but let's understand why you don't have to be afraid of the IRS. They're falling apart from within, just like the former communist Soviet Union. This is from government's own reports. I'm Paymon Motahede, president of Freedom Law School, which I created in 1996. Our website is freedomlawschool.org. Let's go to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration's report that came out just a couple months ago, April 8th, 2026, that the IRS has not successfully addressed the highest balance, that means the richest, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act non-filers. That means people that do not file income tax confession forms and they have money in foreign accounts in other countries. Yeah. Now, I don't recommend that necessarily. Most people do not need anything offshore. Few of you, that's fine. If you have money over there, that's okay. But the point is that the IRS is unable to come after all these rich people. Why would they come after you? Right? Well, let's look at the report, what it says here. Here's the summary of the report in the beginning, okay? Despite identifying hundreds of individual taxpayers with significant foreign bank account deposits, right, who failed to follow the forms to the IRS, tell them, oh, here's my money. They want you to tell them where your money is if you have an account with over $10,000 in there. But that $10,000 has been that number for decades, never indexed for inflation, right? So they got that information. They tell you they identified hundreds of these people. So later on, they summarize the key part, and they say that the IRS examined only 12 of the 164 taxpayers, less than 5% of the 405 non-filer taxpayers identified, most of which were closed as no change. No change at all, right? Campaign officials of the IRS cited limited resources and competing priorities within the examination function of the IRS as to why only 12 taxpayers were examined. Yeah. Let's get a little more detail on this thing of the U.S. have competing priorities and limited resources. Folks, IRS can't come after everybody. There's too many of us, okay? So let's look at this a little bit more closer. So here's what happened. They say that 164 taxpayers who had an average unreported foreign account balance of $1.3 billion. Whoa! These guys had over $1 billion each in foreign bank accounts. Not $1 million, not 10 million or 100 million, over $1 billion each, right? These guys are not poor folks at all. They were referred for possible examination. However, only 12 of the 164, less than 10%, were examined, with 5 having only 5 of them. At the end, only 5 of 164 of them, they had about $40 million in additional tax and $80,000 in penalties assessed. So you have to be in a really, really top class, over $1 billion foreign bank accounts, and out of 164, only 5, okay? Only less than 4% that, they actually did anything with at all whatsoever, okay? Now, look at this part. They say 241 non-compliant taxpayers who had an average unreported account balance of $377 million. That's a lot still. $377 million, it's a big number, folks. It's not some small change. I bet you none of you have $377 million in your bank account anywhere, do you? These guys were sent a combination of 225 educational letters. Yes, educational letters requiring no response from taxpayers. So in other words, these are just scare letters, automated generated letters, right? And no response required. That's all they did with these guys, according to them, okay? And 16 soft letters, again, requiring taxpayer to respond. Okay, soft letters, whatever that is, requiring to respond. And then guess what? None of the 241 taxpayers were assessed the initial $10,000 non-filing penalty. 0. Wow. They already know about these people. Very rich non-filers have hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign bank accounts. Who knows how much more real estate they got? Stocks, bonds, commodities in America, in foreign countries, probably a lot more. Some got over $1 billion just in their bank accounts, not to mention how much stocks, bonds, real estate they have in America or offshore, and they don't file income tax. Oh, yeah. And they're not in jail. They're left alone. You know why they leave them alone? I'll tell you the number one reason why I leave them alone, and the number one reason is this. They did not sign the 1040 income tax confession form under oath, under penalty of perjury, and gave it to the IRS to hang them with. You see? Because what you don't know, you've been not told, is that the safest way to have the IRS leave you alone is to not file any 1040 income tax confession forms. Yep. The fact is, when you sign an IRS Form 1040 income tax slave confession form, and it is a slave confession form, you state under oath that you owe the IRS money. You don't believe me? Here, look at it. Here's a 1040 form on the second page. Sign here in big print. Next to it, in tiny unreadable font, it has this language: under penalty perjury you declare that the examiner's return it's all true, correct, and complete. Wait a minute, what does that under penalties of perjury mean? Did your accountant, your CPA, did he tell you what it means when you sign a piece of paper under penalties of perjury? Did you even notice that you signed a 1040 tax slave confession form under penalty of perjury and no one explained to you what it is? Sound like you were sold a used car and didn't read the fine print. Let's see what the fine print says on his used car you was sold. Basically, it means throw me in prison if everything on this form is not true, correct, and complete. Yep, a 1040 form that your accountant, your CPA, could be 2 pages, could be hundreds of pages long, put before you to sign, and you have no idea basically what's in this thing. You just trust this human being with your life and your freedom. And on top of that, here's what you do. You claim that you owe the IRS money on 37 under oath, under penalty of perjury. Here it is. The form says amount you owe. That's right. And it says on line 37, this is the amount you owe. That's right. You owe, you say, on line 37. Boom, there it is. You fill in that blank form. You said you owe the IRS money, whereas non-filers do not do that. They're free. They didn't confess against themselves. It's like you giving your neighbor a piece of paper saying, I owe John Doe $1 million under oath. And then a year later he comes and takes your bank account, takes your paycheck. You're going, what happened? Why are you taking my money? He says, well, because you owe it to me. What do you mean I owe you the money? I signed a piece of paper. Yeah, but you said under oath that you owe me $1 million. That's not right. I don't want to take you to court. You must take me to court first. And your neighbor tells you, in court, already got your confession under oath that you owe the IRS money. Under your statement, under your penalty perjury, you said that. So you owe me the money, there's no dispute about it. But when you don't file a 1040 confession, you are free. You have not confessed against yourself. The IRS now must come after you, just like your neighbor. If you don't confess to him, give him a confession form you owe him, they must make a case against you, and that's a tall order, just like your accountant. You see, the problem you experience is that you've been told all your life that IRS is a great and powerful IRS, so you gotta file and pay income tax, otherwise you'll be in big trouble. Be scared. Are you scared? I am Wizard of Oz, the all-powerful mighty. File, pay. And you see Toto opening the curtain, that's me, showing you guys video in law school. They're just a scare job of the corrupt major media. They have these CPAs and so-called tax experts tell you, you better file your taxes, otherwise you'll be in trouble with the IRS. So listen to me, you don't want penalties and interest, do you? See? You don't fall for that. This is the curtain being pulled aside right now. Here's the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. This is, again, U.S. Treasury's own auditor's report telling Congress that high-income non-filers, people who make a lot of money, high income, over $100,000 a year in years 2014, 15, and 16, owing billions of dollars, are not being worked by the Internal Revenue Service. This came out in report in 2020. Yep. So let's go look at this report and see some interesting facts in this thing. In this page, here's what happens, okay? The Treasury Auditors, in this report, they've been mentioned that they provide the IRS a list of the top 100 high-income non-filers by name. And I'm sure their slave surveillance number was given also, social security number, so, right? Who owe an estimated $9.9 billion from IRS's own records. You would think IRS would be embarrassed to say, oh, gosh, how can we miss these guys? Oh, my gosh, we're so incompetent. We're going to get fired, lose our jobs. But no, they will not lose their jobs because they're bureaucrats. You cannot fire government agents. To get rid of them, they promote them to another division. That's what they do, okay? So they told these lazy, incompetent, disorganized IRS managers who don't know what the heck they're doing to go after them, right? And here's what happened. The auditors say that the IRS should, at a minimum, agree to pursue these 100 high-income non-filers. However, its response of the IRS does not indicate whether it plans to pursue these. There's even no plans, no serious thought about pursuing these people. No plans. They don't even give it lip service. Oh yeah. Well, we'll go after them, boss. Sorry, we just slipped up on that one, but no problem. We'll go get them. And then, yeah, guys, don't worry about it. It's fine. You know, just give them lip service to these auditors. They come and go. You know, they just tell them whatever we want to tell them, and it doesn't matter. They just forget. They're going to go to the next report. Next thing they're going to do. It doesn't matter. You know, we just tell them that. They did not even do that. They just give the middle finger to the Treasury auditors and say, no, we're good. We're going to get paid the same salary, same pension, same 4 weeks paid vacation, health benefits, pension, retirement. Can't fire us. What you gonna do about it, Mr. Auditor? Huh? Nothing. It's all good. It's all good for the IRS bureaucrats, right? That is the situation IRS is really in. They're leaving non-filers alone. See, what you didn't know is that according to IRS's best numbers, there's 63 million non-filers in America. That's right. This is a letter you see September 1998 from Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service in Washington, D.C. And to tell him this guy, okay, Mr. Dwan Abel of Oregon, this very enlightening language. Let me make it for you centered because you're going to love the language of this eye-opening letter. It says that based on our 1996 tax filing program, we estimate, they don't know, but they estimate, to guess. Their guess is better than yours or mine. There are approximately 63 million taxpayers who have not filed a tax return, 63 million, and initially would appear to have a legal requirement to file. That's people that what? They make above the minimum exemption amount. That's what the IRS means. They don't make like $2,000, $4,000. No. In today's money, they make at least $13,000, $14,000 minimum exemption. Above that, 63 million non-filers. And that this estimate, guesswork, is based on data available to the service IRS on the individual master file. They have your W-2 from your employer. They have the 1099 form from a company that you contract with. Or the K1 from your partnership. They have these things already. That's where they get the numbers from. From these forms that third parties falsely, fraudulently sent to the IRS, telling the IRS that they paid you taxable income, which is not a truth. So, is there 63 million people in prison? Or 63 million losing their bank account and paychecks? Of course not. The number right now is probably around 80 million. We probably should increase what we have going on. The IRS is too busy and incompetent to go after 1040 from non-filers. They gave this in this other report, okay? Now, let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys to read, because this is another exciting report. This came out in 2017, this report, okay? Here's what it says in 2017 report that the auditors of the IRS gave, okay? The IRS claimed that since IRS does not get enough money from Congress, that in 2017, IRS was forced to focus IRS's workers on taking calls from Americans who have filed 1040 tax confession forms but cannot pay what they claimed to the IRS on their 1040 tax confession forms. IRS management decided to put going after Americans who do not file 1040 income tax confession forms on the back burner. Yes, they sure did. Proof is right here, okay? The word IA is installment agreements, and people want to make payment arrangements to the IRS. IA, that's what IA is, okay? So, IA requirement, people want to call on the IRS to make installment payment arrangements to the IRS, are customer-driven inventory. What does that mean? That means people are calling the IRS, hey, I'm afraid I confess to owe you money on that 1040 form, but I don't have the money to pay what I confess on my 1040 confession form. I'm calling you to make a payment plan so you don't take my bank account and paycheck, because I will not be able to pay my rent or mortgage or food or utilities. That's what they mean by customer-driven. That means you, the slave, American slave, you call the IRS to make a payment plan. That's what they mean, okay? So because you call the people that file confession forms are calling, that must be worked. They must take a call and let you make a payment plan. Well, makes sense. I mean, if you had any business, you won't take a call from people that want to pay you money. Hey, just answer the phone. I want to send you money. Well, of course. What business wouldn't take a call from somebody who says, I just want to pay you money. It will not cost you anything except just take my call. Right? Well, the IRS is so busy, incompetent, disorganized, irresponsible. They do not have enough agents to even take your call, to take your money. That's what they're saying here, okay? Compared to discretionary delinquent return and AS notices. This is compared to people after non-files. That is their non-filer program they got. That lingo they got there, okay? So it's discretionary, optional to come after non-filers, okay, with delinquent return and ASFR TDI notices, okay? So, of course, IRS says in this report says this: without overtime funding, IRS needs more money, they claim. But that's not the problem. Discretionary programs, optional programs, such as coming after non-filer, were halted. And in the middle of 2015, to enable the IRS to stay somewhat current, not completely, somewhat current, with receipts of customer-driven inventory, like people calling to make payment plans. People that almost all of them have filed 1040 confession forms with the IRS, but just couldn't pay it. Okay? That situation hasn't changed. IRS still is in the same boat as it was back there, okay? What you do, I gotta understand, is that, you know, if the IRS was to come after you, they must send you by law a letter called a Notice of Deficiency, which is an official tax proposal letter that gives you a chance to challenge the IRS's tax proposal in the U.S. tax court. Why? Because you have not confessed against yourself on the 1040 income tax slavery form. So IRS must make a proposal to you, tax in writing. And in America, now they're free, Home of the brave. You have a right to a trial before you pay me even $1 with the IRS. That's right. Let's bring the form up, okay? Before you pay $1 to the IRS, you have a right to be able to, challenge them in tax court. Here it is. This is no sufficiency in the central thing. This chart is available at freedombosco.org, folks, how the IRS works, coming after non-filers. So you're welcome to go to our website and read it all for yourself, okay? So when they do, you have a right to go tax court challenge them. But look at this. It is impossible for the 31 U.S. tax court judges to conduct tax trials for 80 million non-filers. That's right. There's way too many non-filers. 80 million? It's impossible. Look at this. This is from the website of the U.S. tax court. They have only 16 regular judges. The other 15 judges are senior and special trial judges who hardly do trials once in a while here and there, maybe. That's right. So there's no way they can come after us. There's just way too many of us. Okay? On top of that, look at this. IRS's computers are antiquated. That's right. 40 years of failure. IRS unable to fix their computer systems. This came out in March of 2002, about 4 years ago. Okay? Look, here's what this article says. For 40 years, the IRS has tried and failed to update its main computer system. Regardless of funding level and regardless of who controls the White House and Congress, the bureaucracy is simply unable to pull it off. The IRS and progressive Democrats continue to plead poverty and pretend the failure is due to insufficient funding rather than incompetence. But it is incompetence because socialism does not work. Central planning does not work. Government does not work. Okay? When they get your money, they don't have to compete for it to be efficient like a private enterprise. They get nothing done over time. Over decades, the incompetence becomes deeper, worse, and worse. And that's what led to the former communist Soviet Union, which was a brutal dictatorship from 1918, okay, all up to 1953. Under Joseph Stalin, Lenin, Stalin, and people after him, what happened? The process of destruction kept going and going, and by 1991, it imploded from within. That is what's going on with the IRS. So here's a compilation of key news articles document the IRS's failure starting in 1982, folks. That's 44 years ago. And this is all by mainstream sources like the New York Times. Here's another article by Time Magazine in 1985. Another article, this time from the Washington Post. Folks, I can go through this. You see, every one of these articles document over 40 years plus. IRS simply cannot get its act together. They have over 100 different computers across America which are not connected. Can you imagine that? The systems are not connected. There's still fax or mail documents to each other, or maybe copy the whole reel of data and send it to the other office. That's how antiquated the IRS still is. They're dysfunctional, folks, okay? So here's what the IRS has started doing recently again, folks, because I've been waking you, the American people, to no longer be a slave. Guess what? In 2025, IRS heard the call. They heard that Freedom Law School is telling you guys, IRS is falling apart. Stop filing income tax. So they got scared. They started sending out scare letters, phishing letters to you, dumb computer-generated letters that no one's watching to scare you into being a slave. Here's a few of them, okay? So here, look at this letter. This is said November 2025. It says at the top left, time-sensitive information, open immediately. You must file your 2020 tax return. We have sent you prior notices, but still haven't heard from you. This letter, folks, like the other letters, have name of nobody on them. They're not signed by anybody at all. Just as long as they know you see the emblem of that vulture on top, that scares you, that's enough. That works. That's what they send them out to scare you, to be a slave with a 1040 confession form. Here's the other one. Please file your missing returns, okay? Again, same thing, just simple scare letters. Name of nobody appears on them, okay? No one's signing up to you. No one is expecting a call from you. They expect you to be simply scared and on your own send the IRS a 10 for income tax confession slavery form on your own. Yep, no more, because now you know the truth. You won't be doing that to yourself. Here's another one. See, you need to file and pay your 2024 1040 tax return. Again, these are all harmless letters that no response required. You know, this is what the IRS talks about. Look, when I mentioned here in this letter, okay, that here they said that they sent 225 educational letters requiring no response from taxpayers. Yeah, that's the kind of letters I just showed you, folks. Even these multi-millionaires got letters, educational letters, requiring no response from American suckers. Yep, they try to sucker you to file these forms, okay? So the bottom line is go to freedomlawschool.org, folks. There you see at freedomlawschool.org you can restore freedom, never again voluntarily pay the Washington, D.C. swamp legally and safely guaranteed. All you have to do is seek the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Click on the gold bar, start the 7 easy steps to regain your power and freedom and your money. There it is. You go there. Step 1, follow the law. It's all from there. You see for yourself that based upon the official legal websites of U.S. government, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income taxes. Yep. 10-minute video right here starts it. As you drive to and from work, listen to the video, this 10-minute video right here. And at lunch at work and home at dinner, watch and listen to it one more time. And it just goes from there. It's all bam, 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 easy peasy. Just follow the steps, okay? Okay, and then, just step 4 is my favorite one. Question your authority. Petition to Congress, have all the laws in them. They've never shown us wrong in these petitions at all. It's for free. That's right, for free. Okay, and then you can educate yourself that IRS is really a powerless lizard, not the Godzilla myth the media created in your mind all these decades. And take courage from our victories, because none of our Freedom Law School students, none of them who came to Freedom Law School clean and stop filing income tax with Freedom Law School first and stay with Freedom Law School has ever gone to prison for federal taxes or not filing income taxes, nor had their paycheck or bank account levied or home or property seized by the IRS. That is a record of Freedom Law School. And I myself have been filed and paid for over 30 years. IRS knows me. We've been in court many times. Guess what? I'm free. Not paying them a dime. IRS never tried to even indict me, tried to put me in prison for openly not filing and paying income taxes. Why? Because they know that I know there's no law that requires me or you, the people of the 50 United States, to pay this income tax slavery forms at all. You don't have to pay income tax by law. But they duped you that you're weak, that they're strong. No, you can stop income tax withholding from your paycheck for free by going to our website. Yes, you should go under right here, free yourself from tax withholding for free. Click on this thing, and it tells you how to, with your employer, stop them from stealing your money out of your paycheck. If you're business owner, no need for that. You can legally stop the withholding and then don't file income tax and be free. Take your paycheck whole home. Okay, so after all this, folks, if you want, you have an option, by the way, of joining a Restore Freedom plan where we guarantee you will not go to prison. We pay the lawyers to do all the legal work. And if they ever take your money illegally anyways, Freedom Law School will reimburse you in full. That's right. So that option is available. If you want to be part of the Restore Freedom plan, again, it's all available at freedomlawschool.org. Call us if you have any questions at 813-444-4800. 813-444-4800. And remember, my friends, I have no power over you or your life. You are in charge of your life. And the IRS cannot control you. They cannot enslave you except if they convince you that you're weak in your mind. You change that perception by educating yourself. You choose to go to freedomlawschool.org, and as you drive around, listen to freedomlawschool.org, our videos, watch everything for yourself, verify it. You be satisfied that what I'm telling you is the truth. Don't believe me, or the government, or the media. Verify the truth at freedomlawschool.org, and you'll be free and prosperous. Catch up with your bills, have some money for savings, Yes, be able to take vacations, have a better life, eat better food, because now you can afford it as a free person versus a slave. So with that, I give you all my love, and I wish you all the very best life can offer, and that starts with you giving yourself a chance to be free that you were meant to be at freedomlawschool.org now.